Hi, welcome. I'm Jessie Walters with Charles Rutenberg. I'm here today to discuss if the housing market will crash. A lot of people ask me, in fact, like I was saying last week, I can just walk into Publix, CVS, I can go to the gas station if I have my Charles Rutenberg shirt on, and everybody says, hey, what do you think? You think the market's going to crash? Do you think the real estate's going to go down? So I want to tell you guys what's actually going on, because I'm out on the street and you guys are obviously interested, but we're watching the news to see what's going on. And the news is clear, obviously, but it, believe it or not, sometimes it's not accurate. So what's going on? So last year at this time, there was bidding wars, which we knew, which we heard on the news. For instance, in Tampa, we had bidding wars. People were bidding. I mean, we bid on the ones that I actually got the bids. We bid, the highest one I think was $43,000 over asking price. We were with about 18 offers. That was last year. At the beginning of this year, I had one. It was a fixer-upper. I had about 30 offers on it. It was around $160,000 in Tampa. That was right by Lowry Park Zoo. And so, so as you can see, we still had a lot of offers. Right now, currently, people are like, well, there's no bidding wars anymore per the news. Well, that's not correct information. There are still bidding wars. It's probably about, if you figure about half the bids now. So in other words, because there's still a shortage in the state of Florida because people are still moving here, there is actually still a shortage of homes, so which creates the bidding wars. So for instance, at this time last year, Pasco County, we would get about between 8 to 10 offers. You know, it could be up to 20 offers. Now we're seeing, I think the average is more like 4 to 5 offers per house. So what does that mean for you as far as the prices being dropped? Probably not right off the bat, unless you see a lot of people will say, well, I'm starting to see prices reduced. What's that all about? That is about your seller overpricing the house. So in other words, when an actual realtor comes out to your house and says, I suggest you to sell it for $499, and then you say, well, my neighbor sold theirs for $499 and I have this and this and this upgrade, and usually a seller will do their own calculation and a realtor will appease the seller because obviously they want to get the listing, and they'll say, okay, we'll put it at $520 and we can always reduce it. This is what I don't suggest you to do, only because when you do reduce it, people say, what's wrong with it? And then two, when the appraiser comes out and it doesn't appraise, then you have an issue then. So the best thing to do when you're listing a property is to list it right at the value as far as when the realtor pulls the comps, which is going to be a CMA, which is a comparative market analysis. They're going to pull comps, and how they get those comps is from sold properties in the area. So if I see a house that's $1 million for sale and I see a house that's $500,000 for sale, those for sales don't affect my for sale because I'm comping them with solds. So in other words, the pending sales, you know, anyone can ask whatever they want. You know, it could be a house that is worth $800. Someone says, well, you know what? If I get $1 million for it, I'll sell it. So they put it out on the market as $1 million. That doesn't mean it's a comparable for you to list the house at. So if you're in a neighborhood and you're like, well, mine, I thought it was worth $799, but Mr. and Mrs. Smith over here, they listed theirs for $1 million. Mine must be worth that. Sometimes people will just put that dream price on there and hope to sell it. We're going to compare yours with solds in the area, and that's how an appraiser is going to find that value as well. So in other words, how if you have 3 neighbors and you live in, I hate to say, but the cookie cutter neighborhoods where there's exact square footage, there's exact year, there's exact your home, it's a lot easier to comp that value out. If your house is not in a cookie cutter neighborhood, they're going to go by the year, the square footage, and you know, the year built, the square footage, and then kind of like the structure, and then of course the ones that are the closest to your house. And they're going to take 3 comparable solds, and then they're going to average them. So in other words, the square foot price of each comparable sold. So say if it's $200 a square foot and $225 a square foot, and 175. They'll add those 3 square foot prices up, and then they'll divide them by 3, and then they'll times it by the square foot of your house, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And if it doesn't, just call me and I will help you with that. So with that being said, that's how people are getting the sold prices, and then they're telling you how to list your house for sale. And the best thing is not to add on your extra value that you think it's worth, to put it right at market value. This will trigger the bidding war, and also when the appraiser comes out, if people bid over, then it's kind of on them, because you listed it at $499. The appraiser comes out, says it's $499, and the people purchased it for, $520. That's going to be, on the actual buyer, because they went over on the price. You knew you should have listed it at $499. And of course, there's paperwork for all that stuff. It's not really that easy to say, it didn't appraise out. There's usually that's like one of those big deals as far as when you have a contract, now you got to come up with $20,000 extra, blah blah blah. So anyway, but the point is are there still bidding wars? Yes, if you price your property correctly. If you overprice your property and there's no bidding wars, then it's literally on you, because not because you're trying to be greedy and get the most out of your property, but because you did it the opposite way. The way to do it is listed it right at the actual market price, and then let everybody bid over. So if you actually price your property correctly, you're going to still have bidding wars. So in Pasco County, we're looking at the average was about 4 offers to 5 offers is the average right now. Tampa, we're still getting more offers, twice as much, because of more people want to live in Tampa area, and Pinellas, like Clearwater area, more people want to live there. So we're still having a lot of bidders on those properties. So when people ask me, when is it going to crash? When people stop moving to Florida, because right now we're still at a deficit, for properties. So I was showing one the other day, and the bids were due yesterday at 12 o'clock, and they had multi-bidders. Then I was showing one last week. Well, actually, I think it's been a week now. Yeah, actually, it's been 9 days ago. This property was in Newport Richey, Gulf Harbors area, and she had 4 offers on it, $500,000 price range, and we won the offer. My buyers got cold feet on it. If they're watching this, it's okay. It happens to everybody. But we won the bid, and then we did not go through with the actual contract. But we were one of 4. So, and it was very competitive. They were down to, can you close on this day? Not just being the highest offer, but being able to work with the actual seller too. So, those are key things, which I've already done podcasts on how to get the bid. If you're still shopping right now, obviously call me and I'll get you the bid. We'll work together. But if you're still having problems, on the second half of here, we'll talk about, how to write that contract up again, key things, how to get the actual, get that offer and stuff. So is there still going to be bidding wars right now? Summertime, I feel like COVID came, and no one went on vacation for 2 years. And I feel like this summer, everyone is on vacation. Even though gas prices are so high, people are still getting out because they've missed like 2 years of vacations. So if it's a little slower on your property being seen, a lot of like single family homes are going to be occupied by working families, and their status right now is vacations. So if you're slower and your house is a 3-bedroom, usually there's kids still at home with the 3 bedrooms. A lot of people right now, like I said, on vacation. Don't take it to heart too much. Just take a deep breath. The average day has changed, or the days on the market have changed from, like last year it was 1 day. And I always say, try to run it at least through the weekend. Some people work weekends. Try to run it at least 4 days. Even if you're a realtor watching this, you're not you're not really doing your client a favor by just throwing it on for one day and saying highest and best in one day, taking the first contract that comes along. Give it a couple of days to make sure you're actually getting the seller the highest contract. Like I said, list it on a Friday, Thursday or Friday, let it run the weekend, have all the bids due by Monday, and then you'll get more actual buyers and stuff in. But anyway, so we're still seeing bidding wars. And are they still going in Hernando? Yeah, there's still bidding wars in Hernando too. And we had one that we had accepted down in Webster, Florida, and it was an FHA, which never gets accepted now. But we had a hometown hero, hometown hero program, which was the first one I had seen, and I believe it started, I want to say it was either June 6th or June 9th. This hometown hero, DeSantis had made it for, we talked about this last time, he made it for veterans and teachers and first responders, and it's an extra $15,000 allowance for your closing costs. And so now that we've gone through the process of that, the $15,000 is on top of the price. So the appraiser basically has to make that house appraised for $15,000 more than you're selling it for. So just be aware of that if you're going to accept FHA, and I know no one really is right now. We did because this gentleman, the seller had met personally, and the buyer and the seller had talked, and she really took, thought they were great and really wanted to work with them. So this is like kind of like an anomaly right now, because sellers are like, no FHA, get them out of here. But so we actually did FHA, and we did the hometown hero. It turned out, touch wood, it's closing today, beautiful, and that was down at 58th Street. I always advertise that on here, but that one is under contract, closing today, like I said, touch wood. So anyway, so you're still going to see conventional and cash being the headline of the bidding wars. So if you're purchasing and you're still got your FHA loan or your VA loan, you definitely want to write a letter with that VA and FHA loan, because that's not the most popular thing to do right now. With the 3.5% down or 0% down, you're going to want to at least do conventional 5% or 10% down to be competitive in the bidding wars that are still going on. So my actual prediction is, will it drop? Well, if what's going to happen is the interest rates are going up, and which we'll talk about in the next segment too, but the interest rates are going up. So there was the most, last month was the most loans that had fell through. And the reason for that is I was trying to actually kind of warn all these people that are purchasing, if the interest rates are going up and your loan approval's here and the interest rates go up again, your loan approval is going down. So interest rates up, loan approval down. And I think a lot of realtors are like, here's my loan approval from April, and let's go forward. And that loan approval is no good anymore. You want to make sure that if you're a buyer, that your loan approval is up to date, because it could have gone down. Now at this point, from last year to this year, it could have gone down $50,000. So if you're under contract for 3 months and the interest rates are going up, if you didn't lock that interest rate in, your loan approval is no good, and you're under contract, and no one has thought of this. I don't know why. And you're going through all the process, and then all of a sudden the bank comes back and says, denied, loan, your income to loan value too much. And the reason for that is because interest rates are creeping up, and you're under contract and you haven't thought of that. So you need to definitely go over with your lender. The mortgage firm's great. They're a sponsor of the show. I usually talk with Dylan Gaston at the mortgage firm, and she'll go over the approval, and then again, we'll go over the approval again to make sure you don't go under contract for something that you can't afford. Because not only is it disappointing to the seller, it's disappointing to the buyer too, and you've spent money on home inspections, you spent money on maybe termite inspection, septic inspection, well inspection, whatever you've spent money on, and at this point, it's all in vain because interest rates are going up, so that is one problem as far as the market. That's what's changing with the market is the interest rates. So a lot of people are saying, is there going to be a big price drop with everything? And as I was saying, until people stop coming to Florida with the shortage, there's not going to be a significant price drop. They'll use the word leveling out. Leveling out just meaning that, the average market increase was 4% per year in the last, say, 4 years, not last year, but prior to that. So 4 to 6 was like the average around the whole United States. So if you bought a home for $200,000, you knew that your home would be, little by little is going to creep up in value. So a lot of times the main investment someone will purchase in their lifetime is going to be real estate, and that home will creep up and creep up and creep up real slow. Whereas so last year and in the beginning of this year is very significant increases. So I mean, some of them doubled in actual, in purchase amounts. I mean, the one that I had, they had purchased the home probably less than a year ago, and we're reselling it for like $100,000 more than she actually purchased it for last year. And so not everybody had a significant increase like that, but a lot of them had significant increases where it just was through the roof. Well, right now they say that the increases are 16%, not 100%, not, because it literally, they said it was about 20% average, but I've seen people, put their house back on the market, make 50 grand, put their house back on the market, make 100 grand. So there has been where I've seen them just double. But right now, statistically, and on the news, they're saying 16% increase now. So it's actually gone down, or it's gone down from last year. So the increases on your house may not be going up, which creates what they call leveling. So your house increasing, and doubling, maybe that's not going to happen, but they should stay close to where they are just because we do have such a lack of inventory, like I said, especially in the state of Florida. And I don't think it's going to turn into like a California situation where they always have had bidding wars, and there's always been that type of thing. Here in Florida, I've been a realtor for like 17 years. In the last 17 years, we haven't had bidding wars until the last 2 years. So we've never had that. We've had like bonuses on commissions and stuff like that, and where we didn't have any commissions turned into a very competitive thing too, which not really allowed to talk about rates, but they'd gone down too. So everybody, we're going to take a quick break, but we're going to come back and talk about interest rates. Join me in just a few. Welcome back. I'm Jessie Walters from Charles Rutenberg. I was just talking to you guys about will the market crash? And we were talking about who's coming to Florida and who's purchased and why. And of course, if you live here, the saying, we live where you vacation. That's what the draw is for Florida. You got to remember, we have all these beautiful beaches, and we have Busch Gardens, Lowry Park Zoo, Adventure Island, Disney World. I mean, we have all these attractions, plus Honeymoon Islands was voted one of the most beautiful beaches in the whole world. The draw to come to Florida is sunshine, even though it's like 110 right now, and the humidity is high. It's not good for your hair, but other than that, Florida is the tourist, state where everybody wants to live. So it's like the pros and cons of Florida. We had recently just gone on a trip to Georgia, and it was so nice to see such huge, just acreages of land, and where a house is in the middle of it. We do have that more like in the northern Florida with bigger lots and stuff like that. There's some in some different neighborhoods. There's some with acreage very limited in Hillsborough County, very limited in Pinellas. There's more acreage in Pasco, and then even more Hernando, Citrus, those neighborhoods and stuff. But when you go to Georgia, as you know, it says, "Welcome to Georgia. Thanks for visiting Florida." And you can see all the plates kind of change as you go out. Well, we had gone out this weekend. It was my best friend's mom's birthday. She turned 80. Happy birthday, Rita. Her actual birthday's today. And so we celebrated. It was a surprise party. It was a lot of fun. And so, of course, being in real estate, I want to look at real estate everywhere I go. And so what I noticed, the differences, which obviously if you guys, are those people that you live half the time in Florida and half the time up north, you guys already know this. But so one, let's just say you do that. Let's just say you retire and you say, I want a house in Florida and I'm going to keep my house up north. Well, what I noticed about your houses up north is that your yards, on the acreage in Georgia, yards are so huge. So I was like, oh, that would be so great to have this big yard. But then I was thinking, well, I'm in Florida, like let's just say I am retired, and I'm in Florida, and who's mowing my yard at both places? Because you know how Florida, the grass is crazy here too. So I'm like, cool, who's mowing the yard? And then in Florida we have like what they call squatters, and this could be any neighborhood. It could be a real nice neighborhood, or it could be a not so nice neighborhood. So as I'm gone in Florida, in my head I'm like, now I need more alarms because I don't want squatters in the house. And I don't know if they have squatters in up north. I assume you guys have squatters there too, but I haven't actually seen that on the news where you see more squatters in Florida. I seen one squatter the other day in Pasco, and he literally having all the windows are open. This is kind of a sign because you can't go if you normally can't turn the electric on if you're a squatter. But I mean, maybe you can make up fake paperwork and get the electric on. But anyway, this guy had all the windows open, kind of like the first sign if you're a squatter because you don't have air conditioning on. It's 100, like I said, 110. And then he was having a garage sale at the squatter house, and I was just, it was kind of funny to see, but it's not funny. Whoever owns the house, poor people are. I don't even know if they know he's in there, but anyway, he's having a garage sale, hand-painted signs, just stuff he's collected, I guess, throughout the neighborhood's garbage cans, and he's in a house and stuff. So, but anyway, do you guys have stuff like that in Georgia? I don't know. So that's my fear. So you got one house here and one house there, and of course you got double payments, double mortgage payments, and now are you renting it out because you've got these double payments? So now you have an Airbnb there, and then. And in theory, that sounds good too, but now who's cleaning the house in between people staying? You have to line that up, or do you get a broker there to manage it for you? So I have all these questions. So as I'm driving through, I'm looking at all these huge yards, and then I start to break it down because when you're a realtor, that's what you do. You pretty much get down to how much is electric costing me per month, and the taxes and the insurance, and so by the time. But on the way there, I had moved in my head. I don't know if you guys do this too, but I had moved in my head, and on the way back, I had already sold it because it was too much maintenance. So there you go. So that was my my venture with Georgia, and then also we had that we started thinking about condos. Of course, you have the monthly condo fee there too. So say we get a condo up north, and now. That would be awesome, especially if you live there, live half time there, half time here, as a lot of people do. But then again, you're paying a monthly maintenance fee, no one's there, or are you having people, do the Airbnb? And then if you get freaked out by germs, you have people all over this condo that you're going to try to live in for 6 months. So it's just like one of those things of like the pros and con list. You need to write the pros and con list out. So anyway, who bought Florida houses in Florida? So I have to put my little thinkers on here. So Gen Z, which is 21 and younger, 2% of the buyers in Florida were Gen Zs. So younger Gen, which are the like millennials, like 22 to 30, 14% of them bought them, and the median age group was like 27. So then older Gen millennials, which are Gen, what are they called? Gen Y millennials. They're like 31 to 40. 23% of the population was 31 to 40 basically. And then Gen X, 41 to 55, there was 24% of that population. So, and then younger boomers, which are 56 to 65, 18%, older boomers, 66 to 74, 14%, and then silent generation, which is 75 to 95 years, 5% of buyers. So the median of who actually purchased homes are going to be the most is 41 to 55, but the 31 to 40s are right behind, which is 23%. And so I think a lot of times, like realtors and stuff, they don't realize, because you see someone and you think, oh, they're only 21, they're not going to buy a house. Population is it says only 2% are going to buy a house, but 2%, that's still very significant when you get across 2% of anything. It turns into quite a bit of population. And then of course the 66 to 74 and the 56 to 65, those were pretty high as far as showing up to Florida and actually purchasing homes and stuff too. So a lot of times with being a realtor, some of the actual other realtors will say, well, they're only this age or this age. Don't judge a book by its cover. First-time home buyers, take the time to work with people, and a lot of I always say, it comes back around. So you'll sell someone a house. I had one just the other day in Inverness. She is I think she is 19 years old, and her grandfather had left her a mobile home. So a friend had referred me out there, and it was in Inverness, and she said she trusted me and she only wanted me to sell this mobile home for her. And of course, it wasn't the highest sale that I've ever made in my life, obviously, but it was also a referral, and it was for someone who didn't trust, people and other realtors. She was very cute, and she told me that she was going to interview a couple more and make sure I was the one for the job. And then she called me back and told me I got the job, and I was like, okay. And then I was like, oh darn, now I got to drive an hour to Inverness, which was fine. It turned out to be, because I was going to Inverness and Webster with my listings and stuff, so it turned out to be a frequent flyer to go back out there and back out there. But anyway, the point is, you don't know with the Generation X, or the Generation X, the Gen Zs, you don't know what they're going to turn, the next sale is going to be. You got to think they're already purchasing and selling at around 21 years old. If they keep your number in the next 3 years, they're probably prices are going to go up. Their actual income is going to go up. Their purchase price is going to go up. The sale of their house that you sold them is going to go up. So it's a good, it's actually a good to invest in people, even if they're not the sale that you may want. A lot of realtors will only go out for over 350, and I just don't think that's a good rule for sellers or buyers to say I only work with people over 350. I know commission-wise is what they're thinking and stuff, but I just feel like you're investing in your your referrals and your client base, because they see you working with maybe a family member that doesn't have that much money or is not approved for that huge significant loan. And then, like I always say, they might hit the lottery. They might be that, hey, you helped me when I could only afford $200,000, and here I am, I hit the lottery, or I invented something, or you just never know. And they call you back up because you're so nice at that price. Imagine how, how great and, gracious you'll be if they need $1 million or $2 million house. I always joke with my customers, when you hit the lottery, you call me back or I'm going to be mad at you guys. So anyway, so that's who actually purchased homes. So I know if any of you guys listen to, I know people don't like to quote different places, but if you ever listen to Dave Ramsey, some people, I want to say most people enjoy listening to him because he's very informational or very informative. And he was saying, how the population keeps increasing and increasing. And then when he had a good point of the highest purchasers have the most population now. So like, in other words, the average person, like around say 36, 35, they're the most population in that, or most populated age group right now. So when it comes to, purchases, you have the most populated age group has the maximum population that it's ever had. And there's this shortage of houses. So, every year as people get older and there's more and more population, and that's pretty much what had happened right now too. So we have this shortage and we have all these people moving to Florida. And then we also have all those 35, 36-year-olds, 37 wanting to purchase homes and stuff. So with that like maximum population. And so what that's done is stirred up even more shortage in the state of Florida. And so again, when people say, is it going to crash? Well, it's going to crash when there's no need for houses and we start seeing foreclosures. So if you guys remember in 2007, 2008, we would see the word foreclosure a lot. And it was in short sale. Oh, that's a foreclosure, a short sale. Oh, short sale, they're going to be the longest sale of your life, but we're going to wait like 6 months. We're going to get the best deal in this house. Tell me if you've seen any short sales. No. Have you seen any foreclosure sales? I would say when there's a foreclosure sale right now, they're going to get 20, 30 offers on it from investors who are all chomping at the bit for any, lower priced houses and stuff. There is the Head Home Store, which still has foreclosures for the public. And again, they're slow. And what they do is they have a period where buyers can just submit an offer, but they can't be investors. They have to actually own the house. They can't sell it for 2 years. And so they offer that as owner. It's going to be an owner-occupied home. You have to sign for that. But that's the only foreclosure site there was, there's a couple foreclosure sites, but that is the only one I see some trickling in, but hardly anything at all. So I get calls from investors, and I'm sure you guys do too, where are you going to sell your house? You're going to sell your house. Now think about that. In 2006, 2007, 2008, there was no, are you going to sell your house? Are you going to sell your house? Those people were just like, I'm dumping this house. It's upside down. There was nothing going on like that. There was always the hedge fund people that would come in and actually purchase the blocks up and stuff like that. But there was no letters going out about selling your house. So that means that there's a like we were saying, shortage of inventory, meaning that the investors are having a hard time getting the houses. With the We Buy Ugly Houses, all those different things like that. Gosh, there's so many stories I could tell you guys. I know a lot of times on those We Buy houses, or you're not really supposed to mention it, but let's just say open something, just a couple of those places that buy your house. They come in, they give you a price. We were talking about why would people sell from them or sell to them? I know it's a lot of elderly people don't want people in their house. Maybe you're a mom and you feel like your house is a wreck. You don't want people in and out. And I've seen a lot of people who have dogs. They literally will sell in there too because they don't want to have to take their dogs in and out, and they'll take less money. The only thing is that you guys, when you're doing that, you're losing the average is $20,000 that you're losing by selling it to those cash purchasers. And so they give you a good offer. And what I've seen with my own eyes is that they then come in and do a repair order. And at that point, they really beat the people up on the repairs. So it may be a pain in the neck. You may just want to have an open house on the weekend, list it with the realtor, and get like 20,000 more. It's totally worth it. Take your dogs out for the day, go shopping, and just show the house 2 days instead of taking an investment company coming in and take $20,000 less. So it's up to you guys, but I would say to go that route, But anyways, because there's still we're not seeing foreclosures. The ones we see are just trickling in, not like 2007, 8, 6, 7, 8, where there was, it seemed like every other house, you would pull up the MLS and it would be foreclosure, just lists and lists. But, we're just not seeing that. Some of my customers will call and they'll be on Zillow, and Zillow will pick up from the county recorded, like actual, deed changes, stuff like that. Whereas in Realtor.com, what we always go over is a direct link from the MLS, Realtor.com. Well, Zillow is like, it's like 3 steps out. So if there's a market change, Realtor.com is going to show pending faster than Zillow. And if there's, say your neighbor didn't pay their house payment and they had the county records show a judgment against them, Zillow will show the judgment. It'll say pre-foreclosure, and then I'll get a call that says, I want to go look at this pre-foreclosure. Well, it says pre-foreclosure on Zillow, it does not mean it's for sale. And that's kind of the misconception with Zillow. Zillow will say, it'll say not for sale, but then if you have paperwork against you, it'll say in foreclosure. So make sure if you're listing your house that you're, if you can, make sure if you're not having financial problems, make sure that your payments are all up to date, because literally Zillow was going to throw you under the bus if there's anything. If you're not paying, it's going to say pre-foreclosure if you have judgments against you. So make sure you're up to date, so it doesn't say that, and make sure that if you just see pre-foreclosure, it's not even for sale. So everybody stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break, and going to get my voice back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. I'm Jessie Walters with Rutenberg. We're just talking about the market and is it going to crash or not going to crash. So now I'm going to tell you guys about what to look for, signs of a market crash or a problems like with the economy, which I know everybody's upset because the gas prices and everything's so expensive. Of course, that's going to be one sign that inflation is going through the roof. So that is kind of one sign that the economy, not just the real estate market, but basically things are going to slow down. As we know, the Fed is controlling the interest rates, which is kind of controlling everybody, what they're doing. And so when the interest rates go up, it does cause things to slow, and they kind of get the control back as far as, when the when that happens. So I'm just going to go over some key things that you might have seen in like 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009. You're going to see, when the market's good, right? You're going to see people buying boats. You're going to see people buying RVs, jet skis, all those things, and their enjoyment, and they're like, we're going to take the equity out of our house, and we're gonna buy this, and we're gonna go on vacation, and maybe because of COVID, they want RVs, so they don't have to go into hotel rooms, stuff like that. So you see these purchases because the economy's good, right? So you see land sales, which were the slowest to sell, slowest like via like next to commercial. You see land sales start to slow, new construction starts to slow. And these are going to be signs of now the economy is starting to settle. So the first thing that you'll see is going to be like the actual, like I said, land sales will start to slow. And again, all these people have took loans against their house. They put new pools in. They've got RVs, they've got boats, they've got jet skis. Now you start to see RVs, boats, jet skis on the side of the road for sale. And they're only like a year or 2 years old. People then have decided, well, the economy is really slowed down. I'm not really enjoying this as much as I thought I was. I thought I'd use it all the time. Let's put it for sale. And so you start to see those items on the side of the road. You start to see secondary cars where people had that. They had a truck and a car. The truck was, for hauling, and the car, and you see cars on the side of the road. You start to see trailers on the side of the road. You start to see those extra ATV vehicles more for sale. You start to see extra things that people thought they were going to use, and they haven't used them, like they thought they would. So that's the first sign of the economy is starting to have problems. You start to see those, extra, like I said, like the fun vacation stuff on the side of the road for sale, or you start to see more on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. You start to see the influx of those items starting to come in. You start to see more garage sales. You start to see more rooms for rent. You start to see just different things like that, and you'll know that the economy is starting to slow. You start to see more foreclosures. You start to see, I don't think there's going to be loads of short sales, but you start to see, as far as the decreased economic growth when the interest rates start to go up, and basically people maxing their houses out, trying to get that extra equity out, has caused all the mortgages to start over. So if you had 15 years left on your mortgage and you owed 200 and your house went up to 500, and you're like, well, it's the same exact price, the mortgage payment, but now you're back to 30 years. So now you started over with your mortgage, but you got $300,000, and you went on vacation, and you went to Hawaii, and you bought a brand new car, and you got the boat, and you got the RV, and then now you're sitting there paying your payment, and you're not really using those things, and you're noticing, gosh, that money's a little tight because everything's gone up. That's what causes the items for sale. So when you start to see those items for sale, it's kind of like, for me, it's a red flag as far as, things are going to be slower. Now, historically, real estate is always sold. Whether there was a crash or not, it's always sold. So people say, well, I don't want to miss the market. There's never been a time that real estate has not sold. So even when the market crashed, you wanted to sell your house, yeah, you had to price it lower, but it still sold. So real estate's always going to be an asset that you want to try to obtain, and you want to try to keep, because historically it does go up. And if you remember from, when the crash happened to now, those houses, a lot of customers called me at that point and said, I just need to get out and up from under this. It's upside down. And if you were my customers, even though I want to list your house, I told a lot of you just to hold on to it, because most likely it would go up. And if you listen to me, and I know a lot of you did, you're in that house and you're up, 100, 200,000, because you didn't dump that house because it was upside down. So if you actually listened, you're up, and if not, you're probably still at the same spot you were at, but you got a house now, or maybe you're still shopping, But But anyway, so signs of market crash is going to be interest rates skyrocket up, and then this will also cause credit card debt to actually go way up too, because of, so you've got your credit card interest rates, you know, right now the average is like 14%, but they've gone up to 24%, 18%, depending on how good your credit is, you know. So those will start to go up too. And then what was the other one? Increased mortgage rates, we know that. Rising loan to income levels, overpriced homes, which we know that's basically, there are some overpriced homes, and make sure I didn't miss anything. Overpriced homes, inflation, no, I nailed it all. So yeah, so you'll see the interest rates go up, and then you'll see the cost of living go up. Like, so we've seen eggs go up, milk go up, gas go up, all these things are going up, and you're still driving to your job. I guess the blessed thing about, the only good thing about COVID was that it did increase the ability for a lot of people to stay home and work out of their home offices became very popular, which caused a lot of people to move because they wanted that, you know, office bigger, you know, bigger properties for just in case COVID happened again, or if they stayed at home, working from home. And so that was like another thing that actually a lot of people, you know, why are all these people moving? Well, they want, after being locked down on COVID, you know, with COVID, they wanted somewhere that was more of a paradise where they were on vacation at home, because they found that, you know, staring at a brick wall in an apartment wasn't, you know, wasn't just mentally draining, but they realized maybe need a view or maybe need a window to look out. You know, there was different reasons that people moved and stuff. So if you start seeing these homes go for sale and the people haven't really lived in them all that long, you know, when you purchase, the taxes are reassessed at that point. You know, they're maxed out with their taxes, their payments, the new car, the new furniture, all the things that come with that new house. You know, I don't think I have any, I mean, I have a couple clients who didn't buy something new to go in their new house. Like, do you need new window treatments? Do you need a new pool? Do you need new flooring? Do you need new furniture? Do you need, you know, and all these things add up unless you bought like a new construction home, and then you need new furniture to go. You're not going to go buy a new construction home and put old furniture in it. So when you start to see, again, the furniture for sale, the jet skis, the, you know, the pool, the, of course you can't sell a pool, but different things like that you start to see for sale, that's going to be a red flag for the industry that we're leveling out, and that you know, with the inventory shortage, the prices will level out, meaning that they're not going to go way high up. Doesn't mean that they're going to drop 100,000, and that's what people keep asking me. Do you think the prices are going to drop 50 and 100,000? And if you were a seller and you were going to sell right now, would you say, I watched the news and the news said I should drop my house 50,000, or are you going to just put it out where the market conveys? You're going to put it out where the market says it is right now, and then if it doesn't sell, you may decrease the, you know, the actual price, the price point that you have it for, but you're not going to just put it out and assume because the news is saying something that the prices might go down. You know, you're going to put it out at market value. So with that being said, you're not going to decrease it. So are the prices just going to drop overnight? No. So a lot of, you know, like I said, a lot of people send me messages, should I just wait till next year? What do you think I should do? And right now the interest rates are still low. And so like I was saying, the interest rates are here. Now remember in 2006, 7, 8, people were paying over 7% for money. They were paying 10%. And some investors I know were paying 18% just to flip homes, just to get the hard money cash, 18%, 20%. Hard money lenders were making a killing because people were paying anything to actually purchase houses. And again, the lending wasn't as scrutinized as it is now. So that is a factor of whether the market's going to crash. So the people that have purchased have been tortured by the lenders. Actually, if you're purchasing now, you know what I mean. They're not only debt to income ratios are good. They've had their bank statements pulled. They've had their verification of employments. They've had their, I mean, if there was money going out, the bank wants explanation. You know I told the story of the lottery tickets, and it's like I had a customer who would every Friday pull out $100 for lottery, and then he would win and put the $100 back in, and then so every Friday, and the lender wanted to know now what that $100 on Friday was every Friday, whereas in years ago that wouldn't have been a thing. They wouldn't have asked for your bank statement right before, unless there was a major credit problem, like you went and bought big screen TV, which were more expensive back then, or a motorcycle or furniture, or something to really change your debt ratio where you just went crazy before purchase. You got the loan. Back then it was a lot easier to get the loan. Where here now they really scrutinize your credit. They really check you, double check you. So it's the people that have purchased are solid buyers. The only reason that we're going to see foreclosures is maybe someone had two incomes and they got divorced, and so they lost one income, or someone lost their job, or still life's going to happen. As far as, it doesn't mean that we're not going to see any foreclosures, but right now there hasn't been a significant change. There's no changes. So in the update it would be the market's still good. You're still a seller's market. There's still low inventory. There's still no signs of a crash. The interest rates are trickling up. So, like I said, redo your, pre-approvals because they've probably gone down. But otherwise, the market is still strong. So if you're a seller, please call me. We can go over where you should be, where you should list at, how many days on the market I think you'll be at, depending on the price point we put you at. And the $300,000 price point is amazing still. You can sell it that, in a weekend. The $500,000 price range, it's got a couple days slower because mainly, like I said, we're putting them out there for bidding wars. People are putting more time into them. So if you see it, I think at first when people were just like, it was only on the market one day, it really boosts a realtor's ego that you can sell it in one day, but it's not, like I said, the best thing for your client. You want to put it on the market. You want to leave, literally, if you leave it a week, even though I know statistically that seems like a long time right now, you can get the max out of that property. So that's another reason days on markets have increased a little bit, because I think realtors didn't really know how to deal with this situation. They just were like, well, I got 3 offers the first day. I'll just sell it to one of these offers. That was how we kind of handled it. And now everybody, after 2 years of this craziness, we're all professionals of like, okay, we got to leave it more than 2 days, make sure we get the highest out of it. Everybody's getting more seasoned, with the real estate market and stuff. So if you see things on the market a week, don't just put it as in, in your head, the market's slowed down. Think of it more like, oh, they must be trying to get the max out of that property. So there is still highest and best, like I said. So we had one in Tampa, and for example, I won't go through the neighborhood with you, but let's just say it was Hillsborough County and 1,500 square foot with a pool. It was just under $500,000. So house was newly redone inside, immaculate inside. It was a 3-bedroom with an office, no dining room area, but like I said, 1,500 square foot, gorgeous pool area. But at the end of the day, 1,500 square foot for $500,000 wasn't a thing, 2 years ago. And did they sell it? And people are like, oh, they'll never get that. It's currently pending. My buyers didn't want to go forward with it because of the no dining room, but that just gives you an idea. Again, we went over from Hillsborough, we went to Pasco to Martha's Vineyard, or Martha, I think it's Vineyard, but it's basically waterfront in Pasco County, which is by Hooters or off of US Highway 19, between Walmart and Hooters area. That area, I think it's Martha something. Well, anyway, those homes, stilt homes, 1,800 square foot, again, on the water, just under 500,000. And the house was very, very nice, but that tells you kind of how things have changed. 1,800 square foot in Pasco County on the water, they would get, maybe $399 in that area, but now closer to 500. The house is pending too. So, it is a different market, but, you got to roll with the punches. Everybody needs a place to live. So, and with that being said too, rentals, I've never seen more people trying to rent because people have raised their rental prices significantly. And we're talking, the one had just contacted me. They raised it $565 a month. So they told them, hey, we're selling to hedge fund investors. We're going to sell all of our rentals, and we're going to go ahead and they're going to raise your rent $565 a month. And it's like a small condo type situation and stuff. So when they sell, they actually boost up the rent and stuff. So, stay humble. If you have rentals, if you have someone in there for years and years, don't raise their rent like $1,000 a month. If you have to, because you got to remember, landlords, the taxes just went up excessively in all the counties, and the insurers. We had the insurance girl on. She told you the whole problems there. They pretty much doubled. So if your landlord does increase the rent, remember that the cost of living and taxes and insurance have all gone up. And again, it's very competitive for rentals. You're going to want to write a cover letter just as you would on a purchase, because there's a shortage on rentals too. I have one I've listed right now for rent. Well, actually I have two, and I must get 10 inquiries a day. So make sure you're upfront and honest with those two, because they are $50 per person as far as the processing and stuff. You guys all have a blessed day. I want to thank my sponsors, Nightberry Title and Lynn at the mortgage firm. You guys are great, and thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next week with more market updates and some guests.